will tell you, your girl Seaway got on me a little bit, a little tinch for going to give Chris Brown some money. But I am giving Chris Brown some money when he comes to the fair city of Chicago.
So I don't want to see that from y'all in the comments. If I'm not anything, I'm consistent. And it wasn't just Jay. I talked to my childhood friends of over 20 years, and I called them birds. Yes, I did.
So big, you can't even see my face. Ballin' on the court, make them chase. Buzzer beater, shot clock, first place. Got them running plays like they running in a race. I just wanna ball. I just wanna ball.
Hello and welcome to the Women's Cut. I'm Jay. That's Seaway. Let's get started. How you doing today, girl?
I'm good.
That's
ready to get a run in after we're done recording and then watch some W games. So I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm prepared to watch these. I'm drinking coffee so I can stay up late. They got us starting at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. It's going down on a Tuesday.
Sunkiss, please. Thank you.
All right, let's get to it. Let's hit the cutting room floor. I got a really good question for you, girl.
Yeah.
Should Azzi be starting?
Not at this juncture. No. I do not believe that Azzi Fudd should be starting at this juncture. And I also think that the outrage about it is borderline insane. Like, I do understand that, the coach of the Dallas Wings did indicate that Azzi would have a larger role. And I think people anticipated that she would be starting and her fans want her to start and get Rookie of the Year. But also, when you're looking at the team that she's drafted to and just how she's going to fit in, I do believe she will start in certain games and she will be utilized, but she's not going to be a traditional rookie like we've seen over the last few years. And I think people need to be okay with that. I'm not going to say people's feelings aren't valid. I get that they want to see their player, their fave player start, play, and get meaningful minutes, because some of the minutes that she did get in the game were not the most meaningful. I did see her camped out in the corner. I did see things like that I do hope they adjust. But she's out for tonight's game. It's listed as her knee. But when she is back in the game, back in the rotation, I do think she's going to get more meaningful minutes. And when time allows, she's going to start. It is going to be fine. What do you think?
I agree. Dallas is not a bad team. It's like when you draft any rookie for football, basketball, you name it. If you're on a bad team, that rookie's going to see tick because you need them. Dallas right now, how they are constructed, she is not needed. She was a want. She does fill a need because they do need shooting off the bench. But even when you were watching that game, like you said, she was camped out in the corner. I'm not quite sure if she's comfortable with the physicality of running through screens. We heard her complain. I don't know if you would say complain, but we heard her talk about officiating and how tight they were calling it. Mm-hmm. She was getting a lot of those fouls in the preseason, trying to go through screens. She was getting those for a little bit of hand fighting, trying to get positioning. If she's uncomfortable with where they're at physically, and she doesn't want to be a detriment to her team, which is very much in line with her personality, I can understand why she's a little bit more tentative. But I think we need to be careful with how W season is only 44 games. It's only 44 games, and this is only the first game. So I think that people are hyper vigilant over getting, like, let's see what's good, because it's a short season. Relax. It's one game. She gonna get her time. It's gonna be fine.
And it's actually a long season. When you really think about it, 44 games is a lot of games. And we see a lot of wear and tear, especially on the guards. And so because Dallas is so deep, instead of how teams in the past have had to go through hardship player, hardship contract, Dallas has so many guards are able to contribute. They won't need that, right? And you bring up a really good point about the officiating. Azzi is coming into the league that everyone before her, I'm sure Paige, all of the veterans have told her that it's a physical league. We've seen Angel get snatched out the air. We've seen Paige take hard screens. But Azzi is coming into the league where there's been changes, and we're going to get to that. And so she's trying to adjust to what she's heard to what now she's experiencing. Yeah. That takes time. That takes time. On top of that Zaza is ready to go. And she has been developing. Odyssey is killing. Enrique is killing. Paige has her spot. And so I just think everyone just needs to try to watch that line between parasocial fanatic and just being, a normal fan that, of course, you want to see your fave play, but you shouldn't. I think people are taking it just a little bit too far. And adding Kurt, adding Coach Fernandez, adding it's too much.
Yeah, and I want to add another caveat. What we've seen from high usage in the past couple of years, high usage of rookies, is that by the end of the season, they're off, they're injured, they're tired. Because your rookies just got done playing an entire season in college, had 3 weeks in between, and if you're a first round draft pick, you barely had that because you had to do press, you had to do all this other stuff.
Exactly.
And then you're coming right into the league. I think that she, at the end of the season, might be a little bit stronger than some of these other players who saw crazy minutes, because you have Olivia Miles, who was the number one option on her team. So she's putting in a little bit more work than Azzi, who was coming from a UConn team where they could spread that responsibility around. The same thing with LSU. Even though LSU had hella talent, they were leaning very heavy on flow towards the end of the season. So I think we need to take a beat and relax. I understand y'all new to the W. A lot of people are new to the W, and you just want it how you want it. You want your faves. You want to see them. You saw Paige go off. You saw Caitlin go off. You saw AB go off. That's cool. Relax.
And my question is, before we move on, what did y'all want Dallas to do? Y'all saying there's too many guards. You wanted them to draft a big. I'm sorry, Lee Rue is not even.
I did.
But you wanted them to draft a big. Lee Rue, who's honestly very solid. Alicia Clark, who's a forward, is only getting limited minutes. They have a lot of bigs as well. Who did you want them to draft that actually would have played? It would have been the same. The only thing that's valid as an argument is you're saying, hey, trade the pick for the future. If y'all just wanted Dallas to trade the pick, cool. But it didn't matter if you were drafting Olivia Miles, Azzi Fudd, or Lauren Betts. That Dallas team, the way it's currently constructed, is deep. Unless you're just saying they shouldn't have picked up Odyssey in the offseason. Well, then I just disagree. Then I'm feeling like you don't want to win. And so I can't rock with you on that.
If do they have like GM of the year or whatever? Is that an award? Because Dallas, they got rid of Chris quick as hell. Can I
get a moment on Kurt? Can I get a moment on Kurt?
Come on.
Kurt effed up last year. But I love somebody who knows how to learn from their mistakes and knows how to turn it around. Not only did he have to fire his homeboy, I know that hurt. He fired his homeboy. I know that ate him up. He did it though. You go out there and you get someone who stamped by Gino to coach your two UConn players. You get Enrique to buy in. She fresh out the plane going crazy. You get Odyssey, you get Alicia Clark, and then you rob Coach Reeves in Minnesota and take 2 of her players. Then you got Lee Rue in the back for kicks. Then you got Zaza who done developed. Then you move Paige off the ball. Stop it.
Yep.
Kurt went crazy.
That is it's absolutely mind-boggling to me how they were able to do that. And the coach hire to me is the best coach hire of like head coach hire. You're talking about a person with years. He's been coaching since the 90s. So we're not talking about somebody fresh off the plane from England. We're not talking about somebody who has 4 years of NBA, experience. We're talking about somebody who was in the trenches in the women's game, who understands the women's game, not somebody who just stepped in here because they thought the NBA is a development league for coaches. So If Dallas goes far, I can't see them not winning every single GM award that they could possibly win. Every single front office award they can win, they gonna win.
Yeah. So on that note, give AZ more time, give the coaching staff more time. If the goal is to win, then you guys will be quiet. If the goal is, you just want AZ to play all the minutes and to hell with everybody else, then I can't relate to y'all anyway. So anyway,
They need to relax because I know this AZ for about 5 games every season is gonna be the show. So buckle in and wait for her 30-point game because it's coming. Y'all be all right.
y'all be all right. Okay, so another touchy subject that I think everybody a little right, everybody a little wrong. Everybody a little right, everybody's a little wrong. So for the readers, we're talking about Cameron Brink in Los Angeles. If you guys didn't miss it, in case you guys missed it, the coach of the Los Angeles Sparks, Lynn Roberts, said in a post-game presser when asked about Cameron Brink in her limited minutes, she played 8 minutes and had multiple fouls, didn't do well. Just why is that and what's going on with her? And Coach Roberts said that Cam has to produce. She has to be better. She did later on in the clip note that she wants her to be better because the team needs her. The team depends on her. The team wants her there. But that sparked a lot of controversy. Just one, about her calling her out, and two, whether it was fair that she called her out. A lot of people are on two sides with this. What are you thinking?
I'm going to say the same thing I said for AZ. It's been one game. It's been one game. The Sparks are completely retooled. She's coming off of a season. She didn't play the whole season because she had her injury. She came back, mid-season? So she's starting. This is the first season since she didn't even start her rookie season. Didn't she get injured did she start any games?
I think she may have started a couple of games, but then she was out.
This is her second opening day in 3 years.
Yeah.
Come on. And we're going against the Aces? Come on.
Tough matchup.
You're putting her against seasoned vets. You're putting her against Asia, and they had something to prove that game. So this is a Las Vegas team that had something to prove since they dropped their first game. I think it's absolutely impossible to ask somebody to come off the bench and you only give them 8 minutes of tick. Now, given she did get quick fouls. She did get very quick fouls. So I understand benching her, but I don't understand, number one, the public. If this was the middle of the season and she put in 8 minutes and gave you this, I get maybe saying something to the public. But we're talking about somebody who is already struggling with their confidence. And that is the biggest. We are from Chicago. We saw what happened when Derrick Rose did not have the confidence in his body that he had previously when coming back from a knee injury. So we see the psychology of that. So on top of that, you're adding public criticism on top of the psychology. And also, this wasn't even a good game to be trying to figure out what she's giving you and what she's not. Now, she gave you this against Portland. Cool. The Suns, all right. But we're talking about the defending champions here.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, there's a few reasons why. I'll speak on why I do think some of the criticism is valid, just to get that out the way. I do understand that Cameron Brink has had a fouling issue since college and maybe before that, hell. And now she's coming back in a very tightly called and tightly officiated league this year. And so she's going to have to adjust to that. And I also know that as a number 2 overall pick, there are expectations of her. And we've seen these very strict expectations on a lot of people with lower picks in that draft class, a la Caitlin, a la Angel, a lot of people. Okay, I'll get that out the way. But to your point, I have to say, Cameron Brink, when you're coming back from an ACL injury, she spoke on this on her podcast. I can't even imagine the psychology and just the mental toughness that you have to be able to get back up there and gear up when you lost so much time alongside your peers. I do understand they're trying to hold her to the standard of a third-year player when technically she's really only completed one full season. She's really starting off. This is more like her second year, and barely even that because it's disjointed. And so I don't have a problem with coaches being honest, but to your point, I think you have to build up your players and set them up mentally to be there. And if they still can't get it together, then you call them out. That's number one. Number two, Cameron Brink has never been forced to be relied on since she's been on the Sparks. They have selected and brought in free agents that are dominant. You're talking about former MVPs in NECA, right? You're talking about De'Erica. You're talking about there's so many people that then last year, Rakia was playing the 3 and the 4. There's so many post players on LA that Cam has never been forced to or never even got the. If I'm her, I don't even. Why would I believe that you even believe in me? When you brought in NECA, which shout out to NECA for coming home, and you re-signed De'Erica, why do I believe that you're counting on me? To me, that just feels like gaslighting. It feels like gaslighting. And so if I was the Sparks, this is what you do. Y'all don't believe in Cam, and you probably won't believe in Cam. It seems like there's too much water on the bridge. Cool, fine. Send Cam to the Mystics where she could be young and turnt. Cam, this is what I would say. I hope you're listening. You need to go to the Mystics where you could be young and turnt. Play with them. Send Betts to LA. And she could be a big more 5 there in NECA and De'Erica, and they can do whatever. They can do more the 4 position. That works out. That's what I would do. I think Cam needs to be in an environment with people who are more at her stage and pace so she can build up that confidence and really pick up a big role. We've seen it at Stanford. She's had a big role before. She can do it again. I'm just not sure if LA continues with this type of rhetoric that this is going to be the place for her. But it's been one game. So we'll wait.
We've seen this. This seems very skyish. Right now, it feels very skyish with the public call out of a star player. And LA they love Cam. They love her. My other issue is this feels like coaching. It feels like a coaching problem because you have developmental coaches specifically to retool certain parts of someone's game. We saw it with Camilla. The first game, what did she stop doing? Lowering those hands. She's going straight up. That's development. That's a coachable thing. So what are we is the call out that she's not taking to your coaching, or are you not coaching her? Because that's not what you said. You didn't say we're coaching her, she's not paying attention, and that's the reason why we're calling her out. We need her to produce. You didn't even mention that. So that's kind of what my other issue is here, is that where's the coaching at? Because that's literally a development issue. Go straight up. Don't do the volleyball spike. We need you to stand tall. Realistically, she could just stand there, not jump for a lot of people, because she has a very long arm length. So she could just stand there still at least and not get the foul. But I can't speak to that because we haven't even seen the Sparks gel yet. So I think that it's a very odd call out when all your starters haven't even gelled. It's different if your starters have gelled, they playing crazy, and then Cam over here just doing whatever the hell she want to do. I'm like, this.
It's a new team again, and now you went from a young team that looked like it was more on track for the Mystics with Kelsey Plum kind of leading the more veteran presence. Now it's a very veteran team. And so that's another thing. You kind of abandoned your identity that has not really considered your number 2 overall pick. And that's why I said it feels a little disingenuous because this whole team seems like, I guess I would say sky-ish, where they're trying to fast track a playoff push. And I just wonder if that may be the best for the Sparks. I'm not even sure it's the best for the Sparks, but it's definitely not the best for Cam. And this is when coaches like Becky and Teaspoon, coaches that really get the most out of their players, are so invaluable, because I bet you if she had a Becky or a Teaspoon there, If they couldn't get it out of her, then I don't think it's going to be there.
Yeah.
But a number 2 overall pick that was kind of undisputed at number 2, that's somebody that you try to figure out what's going on so you can work with her.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, honestly, why teams aren't following the Las Vegas method of building these teams.
Shortcuts.
I don't get it, because if you look at Las Vegas, they drafted extremely well. All those players grew up together. So now you have a strong veteran presence, and then you're bringing in rookies to complete and free agents to complete what you have. And then you're going on this run, because we know in the W, these players can play for a long time. They can go on very long runs, especially when you have strong veteran presence. The same thing can be said about the Mercury. The same thing can be said about, I'm just like, historically, like, this is what we've seen work.
You want to know why? Because, and you see this, we saw this right with the Clippers and Phoenix Sun and the NBA. I think a lot of these teams get impatient and they think they can do what Dallas just did, forgetting the fact that Dallas still has mainstays who have been on the team, like Enrique, who stuck around, and then they're sticking around page, and then they added people. There's a lot of people who think they can do the fast track, and what Dallas did, to be fair, was a gamble. I just think it's gonna work out.
They had a strong core. That's the other part of it. That's going back to the NBA big 2, big 3. So we have a big 2, we have a big 3, and then we build around them. Right. Who is your big? Because you can't. We're not being hard on Cam, but you can't build around an injured player. So the only person you're building around is Plum, maybe De'Erica, but you brought De'Erica in. So that's not even through drafting. And then you still don't have a defensive identity on that team because you traded Rakia. So right. NECA obviously is going to give you that defense, but who else on that team right now as it's built is your defensive presence or your defensive center on a guard side of things? Kelsey can play defense, not saying she can't, but you're trading one of the best two-way players in her draft away to bring in. I can't say that they brought in. Ariel's not a defensive. Well, she's okay.
I guess they've known her for that. I don't know. At this juncture, they just need to, I would say, try to build around NECA and Plum, because they're at least closest in timeline. If you want to keep De'Erica, and I guess Ray still works, but everything else you probably just need to shore up your bench, and figure it out. And I would have try to draft in the future people that kind of to that Dallas method and go on free agency. Pick up some players that work well alongside Plum, and just go from
there. Lee Rue was drafted by Dallas, though, wasn't she?
No, Lee Rue was in I don't know who she was drafted by. I know she was in Seattle, right? And then she went to Dallas. I don't know where she came from.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see about that.
Will see. Speaking of building teams, the Dream, who they closer to the Vegas method, adding a couple of pieces via free agency and drafting well. The Atlanta Dream. I kind of feel bad for the Atlanta Dream right now because their first 10 games, rough.
Yeah.
They got to have one of the hardest schedules, friend.
Yeah. Really, really tough schedule. And I mean, I think the addition of Angel is fantastic. However, the coaching, and I'm not saying nothing bad about their coach. I really do like their coach a lot. But it just seems like although they have 3 to 4 players that are coming back, Jones is not out there. Actually, Powell's back. 5, 6. They have a lot of players that came back. It seems like the chemistry is almost as if they are not the same people that have been playing. And in the second half of the game versus the Minnesota Lynx, it seemed like they started to gel more. But with this game that they have against, I believe they played Dallas today, they really have to gel quickly in the beginning to really because otherwise Dallas is just not for none. I don't know, but the Atlanta Dream really are going to have to gel and get some better ball movement if they're going to come out and win this game against Dallas.
I think that Angel is such a big energy shift as to how you play ball that it's going to take them a couple of games to figure that out, because it's a lot different when you know you can take more risks when Angel's in the paint.
Right.
You have to play a very controlled game when she's not, because you're not sure about the rebounding. But you can take a little bit more risk when you know she's in the paint and she's cleaning up, and you know she's in the paint and can pass out.
Right.
You also can play a lot differently when you know she can assist. When you know that she can come out to the top of the key, she can throw it down, or she can assist out of a pass from the paint. I think that it's going to take a while for this particular team to figure out how to play together, simply because you added a lot of pieces by adding one.
Yeah.
And that takes time, especially when this core has been together for quite some time. And I'll say this, I feel that Angel and Pow Pow are actually playing really, really well together.
They play great together, yeah.
Versus the other ones, because they're both young. They had played against each other. I think when you play against each other in college, it makes it a little bit, because you know what that other person is giving. Yeah. And you know what the game plan was against them. So it's a lot easier to gel versus the core of this team who had been playing together for 3-4 years together before Pow Pow and before Angel even came. So I just think it's going to take some time. And just a quick review of the Dream schedule. So we know that they played, who was their first game?
The Minnesota Lynx, which was way closer than I think it should have been. Yeah. Way
closer. They put themselves in that position to have to win it at the last minute, because their first half play was not as good as their second half play. Then they have the Wings, the Aces, the Wings, the Mercury, the Lynx again, Portland Fire, Connecticut Sun, Indiana Fever, Washington Mystics.
So it gets a little better over time, but this is also, it's a very tough schedule without Brianna Jones. And then when she gets in, she's going to have to get up to speed. And so, I mean, look, if they come out doing well from that schedule, then when Jones comes in, then this team is, I think everybody, if they haven't already, I think they're putting respect on their name, but they're going to really earn it if they're able to survive this next run without Jones.
If you can come out, because you have Wings, Aces, Wings, that's as tough as a 3-game stint as you're going to get. And then you have to go to the Mercury, which are just, we talked about the Mercury.
Yeah.
The Mercury are just they're going to Mercury. So it's going to be a little rough, but I like this test for Angel as far as bigs in the paint. I like what she's doing. You can see the improvement. The only thing I do want is, and I don't even know if she can control it, because they're still doubling her in the paint. They're still rolling those bigs down there. So I don't know how you kind of combat that, because they're not respecting your other, like your center, because she's playing forward. They're still not respecting the center enough to roll people off of Angel. So
we're just gonna have to see. And then they added Aaliyah Nye. We'll see if she's playing today. So and they still haven't added developmental spots, and so I'll be interested to see how they capitalize on their developmental spots. I think that's a room to add some pieces, maybe.
So that's what my question is I wonder if they're waiting for Bree to come back, and then they'll cut one of their rookies and then add them to that development spot.
She's still on the roster.
Oh, she is still on the roster.
Yeah, everybody's still on the roster. They just got 2 open spots.
I don't know then. They're kind of interested in that, because it's only them and one other team that don't have development.
They just don't,
They don't have development spots. And I'm not sure about that. Now the Aces, I guess I kind of see it because they have so many veterans, but I just really feel like there has to be some players out there that you feel like you want to tender those spots to, but I don't know. It's working so far, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay. Speaking of the fact that there's a lot of, people who were cut, moved around, needing spots, W not offering it, there is a new league in town. and it's called the Upshot League. And this league is in the Southeast, in Savannah, right? In Jacksonville, and in the Carolinas. And so this is an amazing league that starts on Friday. It will be streaming from the Upshot League's YouTube channel as of right now, if you want to watch the game. And they have some great players like Deja Kelly, like Cheyenne Sellers, like Harmony Turner. And I'm excited. I'm excited that the league is positioning itself as like a league that has great talent, that's seeking to expand. I think there's 2 more teams coming next year, and that could potentially be a G League for the WNBA. What do you think?
I'm actually excited for that, because my only issue with the developmental slots is like how are they actually developing other than playing against them in practice, and getting premier coaching from the coaching staffs. Well, how are you developing without gameplay? It's very difficult. Right. So I would like for them to have the opportunity, because right now, as a developmental league player, you can't sign anywhere else. I would love for this to take off and for them to actually use this as a G League, because I think that the G League is extremely important to the NBA, because we've seen how well those two-way contracts have been able to work out for them. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to cover it. Yeah. Very specifically, because some of my faves are on there, and it's so hard to be. I think it's easier for people who are fans of the NBA because they're used to their faves not making it to the league, and they're not following them as far as it goes overseas. And I think that it's better to have something here like Upshot. We've talked about Unrivaled. We've talked about Athletes Unlimited, where you can see them and still develop that kind of fan base. So the reason why the W has taken off so much faster than the NBA is because we are in a social media age, and it's a lot easier for those fans to transfer from college to the pros. So now, if you're maintaining that fan base, when they get in here, that is just going to make the W even more profitable, and I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great place for the college players who, you could try to see if you don't get drafted, you could try to see if you get a training camp contract. But if that's not realistic, it's a way for us to immediately track these college players and be able to watch the game. And then by us watching them play competitively, while they may be playing at Upshot while they're figuring out, if they're going to go pursue other ventures or other professions, or they could be playing to stay ready. It's a really great place to stay ready. And so we can actually track to see, look, these are what the GMs are seeing. Because when we watch Upshot, we're going to know, hey, this player is ready. They're playing good competition. I think this is a player that if there's an opportunity for them to be called up. And to your point about the developmental spots, I think the good thing is that these players, instead of bringing in hardship players all the time and them leaving and coming back, it's a great opportunity for a player to actually know the system and be able to play. But I do think the downside is that if you're just playing in practice and you never get real reps in a game reps, that is a little bit difficult. So it's a trade-off. Do you take the developmental spot, stay close to the W, or do you decide to go hoop in this summer or not? And if you do development, you can always do AU or something in the off season.
Yeah. I think that the time will tell. Let's see how. I think that a lot of these players, this is a wait and see, right? So the players who are signed there, it is only a benefit because they don't have a developmental contract. So if this ends up being, we saw you there, and then we're seeing you because you can do Athletes Unlimited as well, and then we see a development from there, from Upshot to Athletes Unlimited, then we can see if that translates to them getting, some contracts, some kind of development deal in the future. We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah.
But friend, there's a couple of people, or a lot of people.
Dang.
We got quite a few that are in the cut.
Well, we ain't got that much time. So look, we're going to put them in and then leave them there.
The biggest fly on the wall is Caitlin Clark going to the Morgan Wallen concert. Now, I know you could care less about country music.
I didn't know who that man was until yesterday.
But your girl is a fan of country music. I have been for quite some time. I'm not new to this. That's the reason why when Beyonce dropped her album, when she dropped Cowboy Carter, I was with it because
Okay.
your girl is a fan of country music.
One
Okay,
by one, you hang them. Okay, that was my song.
going. I'm going back to my mama didn't play about Reba McEntire. I'm going back to my grandma did not play about Patsy Cline. So this is
Black
like,
people invented country music, so ain't nothing, ain't no problem.
listen. So I knew who Morgan Wallen was. I actually was a fan of him until he decided to use a very untoward phrase, word towards people who looked like me. And then I was like, you know what? Spotify, you don't need to pay him for me no more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need any of these albums. I never purchased an album. I was only streaming, so it's very easy for me to cut the cord. But the point is that everybody knows he said it. He then last year very famously said some crazy shit on SNL, and they had a problem with him there. So we know what he represents as a whole. It was a very calculated choice for Miss Clark to decide that she wanted to walk out on stage. And before people go, well, Beast Mode did it, and that don't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better. It actually, that's kind of worse. But we're going to stick to the problem at hand. How do you feel about it?
I mean, to the people who are mentioning the Black people who supported him, you have Nicki Minaj stepping and fetching, unfortunately, for green cards and whatever. You have Nelly, who is doing things for a check. We even had Snoop Dogg doing things for a check. And so the fact that Moneybagg Yo and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know why he's mentioned in this conversation, and all these other people walked out with him, like you said, does not make it better. This is what I'll say. When you're at the stature that is all of these big faces of the league, Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Angel Reese, these big figures in the W, every single thing they do, marketing knows, PR knows. You think about it for your brand. And I think the fact that her brand, which is a very particular brand, is now aligned with someone like a Morgan Wallen, who I just discovered, and like I said in my own channel, I'm going to undiscover, is not surprising, but unfortunate. And I just think at some point you have to stop and think about how your actions or inactions are offending a large group of people that want to support you and want to support the league. But to me, I'm not going to sit here and keep harping on someone who is making a clear choice.
It aligns with her brand, though, friend. That aligns with her brand.
And that's the issue. The fact that she wants this to be her brand is a choice. And that's all I really want to keep saying about it. I'm not going to, people are surprised. This is a choice. It's an unfortunate choice because there's been so many other people who have gone out their way to make it very clear that this is not their brand. So I don't care if Jackie Young is following him. I don't care if Moneybagg Yo, I don't care. But walking out, that is I can follow a lot of people. But if I choose to have my likeness next to their likeness, that's a very different situation.
We also have to understand that Jackie Young is not anywhere near the level of superstardom that Caitlin Clark is. And Jackie Young, even if she decided to walk out with him, that is not going to affect the greater, zeitgeist of what is America, because she's not America's darling in this particular sense. So I think that we need to understand, and we know, again, Marshawn do everything. He do everything and anything. Nothing that he does is a political alignment. He just does things for the vibe. He does things for the story. So we have to understand that part of what people are doing as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, he could have recorded walking out with him for something that he was doing for Thursday Night Football. Who knows? I don't know what he was doing.
Who knows? Oh, and the people mentioning the Chris Brown concerts. Have I talked? I'm not going to put out who's going where. But what have I said
you
about?
Can put it out there, friend. I'm definitely going to see Usher. Now, I say
Who else
what
is
I
going to be
say.
at that concert?
I'm going to see Usher, though, friend.
But who else is going to be there?
I'm gonna turn my back to that part.
But then what did I say?
I mean, my money is still going to Chris Brown.
But did I mention it? Did I say something?
You did. I will tell you, your girl Seaway got on me a little bit, a little tinch for going to give Chris Brown some money. But I am giving Chris Brown some money when he comes to the fair city of Chicago.
So I don't want to see that from y'all in the comments. If I'm not anything, I'm consistent. And it wasn't just Jay. I talked to my childhood friends of over 20 years and I called them birds. Yes, I did. So y'all can be mad. I am consistent. So that's all I got. Lastly, can we wrap it up with this WNBA officiating because I'm getting hot now.
Overcorrection.
Here's my thing. I'm not even going to give y'all. Okay, let me give y'all the numbers because let's get facts. We're just not going to yap on here.
The amount of fouls is astronomical.
Through the first 11 games of the season, WNBA teams are averaging 22.3 fouls, 23.1 free throws per game, up from 17.5 and 18.2 respectively last year. This is from Front Office Sports. Here, and a quote from Stephanie White said, who was involved in the task force. There was a lot of coaches involved in the task force, including Cheryl Reeves. The league saying that the league needs to overcorrect from past years when primary complaints were about missed calls. We have asked in all of our offseason for officials to call everything, White said Saturday after the Fevers lost to the Dallas Wings. The challenge and the question sometimes is it consistent? So what I'll give to Stephanie White is she's standing behind the fact that they asked for this and she's not acting confused. We're going to juxtapose that. My husband then gave me that word. Now I use it all the time.
I love juxtapose is one of my favorite words of all time as an English major.
I actually hate the word, but now I see the
use. I love juxtaposition is beautiful. That and oxymoron, two beautiful words.
They are great words. We're going to juxtapose that to Cheryl Reeves, who's confused about what's going on when she herself was on the task force. And I love Cheryl down. I'm gonna keep saying
that. We don't know if she was on the task force. We don't know if she was a detractor from this. We don't know what those conversations were. She might have said y'all doing too much when they was putting the task force stuff out.
Yeah, we don't know. You're right. Let me put respect. I don't know what Cheryl asked for. All I know is that there's a task force put together, and the refs are only going to do what they're asked. I think people think that the refs have like individual opinions. These refs at this level are known for having zero opinions on these matters. They do what is asked for them. And now they have been asked to call everything. Now they call in everything and they're mad. I could not be a ref. What do y'all want?
Here's the thing. They asked for them to call everything. And I think that was the wrong thing for them to ask.
Yeah,
they should have just asked for them to call fouls.
No prayers.
Just call the fouls that are in front of you. I don't want you to call everything. This whole restricting movement, yes, call push-offs. Please do. There's a lot of moving screens in the W that were not called. Call those where they throwing hips out, where they're throwing shoulders. Call those. Call when a player goes in with their shoulder, because we see this a lot in the paint, where a player will go in hard with the shoulder and go up, and then if anybody touches their wrist, they get the call. I get it. But we cannot legislate. The reason why the WNBA is good is because it is physical. That's what sets it apart. That's the reason why people like the W as opposed to the NBA right now. I don't want a game that is the NBA.
Well, I also
don't want that.
There's a bit of flag football that has been going on in the W for some time. And so I think it's going to take the players a little bit of time to adjust. I don't want them to drop all the way down to what the NBA is doing, but I do think the constant fouls is going to make them think a little bit about some of the contact that's been going on. That's not good for nobody. That's not even entertaining contact. And so what I like about what Stephanie White is saying that, yeah, it's a bit of an overcorrection, but hopefully it evens out while people learn how to play, you know, in the W way, but also some of the brute contact that has led to a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff. It does need to calm down. And so like we said for AZ, like we said for Cam, we're going to give them a couple of more weeks. Let's see how it evens out. One jarring stat, though, is that these games, one of the games supposed to be 2 hours, end up being 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, that Liberty game was it had zero cohesion. Like, it was hard to watch that game, honestly. It was very difficult to watch that game because it didn't have cohesion. One thing I will say is this is going to benefit players who are coming in after this, because I'm thinking in my head, Juju in this league with all of these, she gonna be on the line for 10 free throws a game.
But this they're actually making the league more like college. You can't beat people up in college. It's a contact sport, but people play a lot cleaner in college, and they got to W, and some of them start playing flag football, and that needed to stop anyway. And so,
well, not flag. You think you say a full contact football flag? You can't touch nobody neither.
Okay, yeah, you're right. See how much I know. But I say
you said they playing rugby, friend. I got you.
It's like I say flag because it's like, you know how you're not supposed to touch people in flag.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a. I take it back. That's fair.
But like some in between flag and full contact is what they were doing out there over the years, and so yeah, it needs to.
Yeah, I all I know is that these people's favorite player, they gonna have she might have a rough. That first game, I think she might have had 4 fouls or something like that. 2 of them were offensive. One was a full push off.
The push-offs.
The shoulder in and come out. You just won't be able to do that. I will say this though, to me, the person who adjusted the best to these is Paige.
Because she plays clean basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway. She adjusted really well, and she is known for being a sound defensive player, and she was able to do that. I think as far as it's concerned, the only team that might have an issue, Angel had quite a few fouls because she's also a very physical defensive player. So she might have to,
and she steals the ball.
Yeah. So we'll see how they can adjust, but we can't have 2 hours. We're just getting people in to watch. We can't have 2 hour, 3 hour games. Like that's not gonna work.
Mm-mm.
All right, that was nice, quick and dirty, friend. You can go get your run in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my run in, but I know some of y'all gonna be mad. Whether you a Morgan Wallen fan, whether you're a Caitlin Clark fan, look, we appreciate Caitlin's game as well. That she's not above critique or reproach. WNBA officiating, look, don't be mad at us. Just be happy that you made the cut. Bye.
Brink so big, you can't even see my face. Ballin' on the court, make them chase. Buzzer beater, shot clock, first place.
It's been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.